You kick down the door and rush into the room holding your rapier up, ready to attack. What you see makes you pause, though. You see Droop set up in a large king-sized bed. He is wearing pajamas and is holding on to a large stuffed bugbear toy as he lets out a loud yawn. On the nightstand next to him is a dimly lit candle with a storybook labeled, "There's a bugbear in my chair." You see Thaddeus standing next to the bed, holding onto a potion, looking shocked to see you. He says, "Joe, is something the matter?"
Put down that poison. What have you done to my friend, Thaddeus?
I would stir for a moment, sounding groggy, and say, "Joe, it's his okays. Thaddeus is readings me a bedtime stories and gives me a sleepings potions. I was having trouble sleepings."
Calm down, Joe. Put down the sword, please.
Can I roll an insight check on this?
Sure, go ahead.
That's a 16.
You actually feel kind of silly. Both of them seem genuine. In fact, you seem to be scaring Thaddeus a little bit by holding a sword up to him.
I lower my rapier and put it back on my hip. I'm sorry if I came off a bit hasty, but I was under the impression Droop was in trouble. I heard you say that you'll be taking care of Droop. I thought you meant that you were going to kill him.
I understand that, Thaddeus says, starting to relax. I know you just met me off the side of the road, and I'm a stranger to you all, but I mean no ill will. Sometimes kind people exist for the sake of being kind. I know it's hard to grasp in this cruel, unforgiving world we live in. I'm still young and want to travel before I become old and crass. Despite you holding a blade up to me and giving me a scare, this is just another story I can tell on my travels.
I'm going to get back to bed then. Sorry for sneaking around, Thaddeus. I won't be a problem tonight. Please forgive my intrusion.
As I said, I understand your caution. Sleep well, Joe.
I shuffle my way back to my bedchambers and go ahead and get a long rest in.
You do so. Everyone, please go ahead and benefit from a long rest. I also think this is overdue, so please, everyone, go ahead and level up to level 4 for me. I've got a feeling you're going to need it for what's to come.
We're really overdue for a level, Ben. You should have just given us this when we killed the Displacer Beast. I'm taking a feat for my 4th level, Ability Score Improvement. I'm grabbing Metamagic Adept so I get more sorcery points. I'm picking Transmute spells so I can change damage types of my spells, and Seeking spells so I can re-roll when the dice hate me. For my spells, I'm going to pick up the Mending Cantrip and Scorching Ray.
I get an ASI too. Gonna pick up the Lucky Feat if that's okay with you, Ben. I know some dungeon masters ban this one at their table because it's a little OP.
I don't want to restrict you guys. You can take Lucky, that's fine. If its rules as written, I'll allow it. Though I tend to agree it's a little overpowered sometimes. The biggest hurdle is just remembering to use it.
I'm picking up the Piercer feat so I can round off my dex to a 18 and get to re-roll my damage die if I roll bad. I don't get a spell this level, so that kind of stinks, but oh well.
I'm picking the Skill Expert feat. I'm going to be like Droop, but I'm going to round off my strength to 14. I'm going to pick Religion as a skill. I'm gaining proficiency in, which is off that I don't already have that being a paladin. And I'm going to gain expertise in athletics. I also get another prepared spell, which is nice. I think I'm going to keep command on my list of prepared spells. Always useful in a pinch if someone gets to be a problem.
I guess I'm going to be boring and just take the ASI to even out my charisma and dex to 18 and 16. That gets me up to 16 AC, with my Armor of Shadows Eldritch Invocation and an extra little bit of damage. I'm not thrilled with the spells at this level, but I'm going to take Misty Step as my oh shit button and Prestidigitation. I think I said a while back I was using that spell to keep me warm before, but apparently I didn't have it, so sorry about that.
All good. You have it now. First ability score improvement. Let's hope it's enough for us to take on Cragmaw Castle with minimal deaths. Let's shoot for just 1 player death. I think that's fair.
Wait, what the fuck?
The next morning comes, and you all awake to Thaddeus cooking fresh eggs and bacon for you all. You emerge from your tent rooms and see that he is outside of the tent near the fire pit that has a camper cooking kit sat over it. Thaddeus is kneeling down, tending to the eggs and meats to cook them just right. It's a clear morning in the Forgotten Realms. Although some of you may be tending to a hangover, the smell of breakfast helps you stir from your beds.
You know what's better than the smell of fresh cooked bacon and eggs in the morning? The smell of fresh cooked bacon and eggs that you didn't have to cook. I hop out of bed, get dressed, and hold onto my good luck charm as I leave my room whistling a tune.
Well, you know what I want? Is there any corn out here?
Thaddeus thought of you, apparently. Sitting outside of your room is a bucket of corn, a lot fresher than the chicken feed you were eating the previous night.
I don't know why I ever doubted this man. I was such a fool. He is a saint.
I yawn, dragging my stuffed bugbear behind me after leaving my bedroom. I don't know how I got here as I fell asleep in Thaddeus's bedroom. I sit at the table in my high chair waiting for my breakfast.
I would have been up early as usual in my armor and training out front. I would have probably been making small talk with Thaddeus this morning.
I would join Droop at the table and compliment his new pajamas.
You all do so. Thaddeus brings you all breakfast, and you all enjoy another warm meal. Revitalized, leveled up, and full stomach, Thaddeus begins to say that it is time for him to go. He's due back north towards Neverwinter to meet with his fiancée. He leads you all outside of the tent, which starts to disassemble itself.
Fiancé, huh? That wouldn't have been that elven woman in the portrait in your library, would it?
It would be indeed. That is my dear Lenza. I do love her, but between you and I look forward to my outings. Get some free time to be myself before I get tied down. You understand, I'm sure.
Wait, you had a library in the tent?
Thaddeus gives a chuckle, a nod, and says, "Yes, I like to travel, but I also like my comforts. Well, my friends, it was nice meeting you all. Don, take care of my good luck charm. I'm sure it will treat you just as well." He gives you all a handshake. And just as long as it took to say goodbye, the campsite packed itself into a stuffed backpack. Thaddeus picks up the pack and slings it over his shoulder. You all say your goodbyes as he makes his way north, and you all make your way south. You travel south on the high road and then eventually go east on the Tribor Trail back to Phandelver with little to no problem. Rydoth leads the group, seeming excited to finally make it back to Phandelver. By the mid-afternoon, you all arrive and make a quick stop at the Stonehill Inn, which Redith requests to go to. You all sure got cozy with the locals. Not every day you find some rich noble on the road who offers you a palace to sleep in. Definitely better than sleeping in the dirt, Redith says.
Yeah, well, you get to sit on your ass again soon, Redith. We're going to be picking up some basic supplies in town and turning right the hell back around to go save Gundren, since you don't want to get your hands dirty at Cragmaw.
I told you, I'm not a combatant. I would just end up being a liability.
Yeah, well, you could have just walked your happy ass back here on your own.
It's just a small detour, Don. It's not that big of a deal, Rydoth. Besides, once we have Gundren back, we'll be headed to Wave Echo Cave, which you said you would guide us to.
You don't gotta remind me. I'll hold up my end of the bargain. Y'all took care of that scourge in Thunder Tree. Perhaps one day it could be brought back to its former glory.
Dibs on the towers. I'm gonna put some big signs out front that says Droops was here and killed the dragons.
That's right, buddy. You killed that dragon good. I pat Droop on the head and give him a little squaw.
As you all approach the town square of Phandelver outside of the Stonehill Inn, you see a curious display. A colorful wagon has set up a display. The sound of whizzing toys, the crackle of fireworks, and swirls of light catch your attention. Standing inside of the wagon is a small gnome who is clearly standing on a pile of crates to see over the side of the wagon. The wagon itself has a colorful rainbow canopy on top, and dozens of gadgets, artifacts, and gizmos swirl around the wagon on display. With a magically amplified voice, you hear the gnome shout, "Come on, come all to Wibblegiggleton's Wagon of Wonders. Trinkets, toys, bits and bobs to drive your spouse mad, dangerous weapons to fight off fierce foes, and maybe just a bit of luck to take on the road with you. If you have gold to spend, I've got trinkets to sell."
Oh shit, I'm gonna sprint up to this wagon. Squaw!
Joe waits for me. I'm coming too. I chase after Joe.
Redith puts a hand on your shoulder, Barak, and says, "When you all get back with Gundren, I'll be in the Stonehill Inn," and breaks away from the crowd towards the tavern. You all approach the Wibblegiggleton's Wagon of Wonders as you push through the crowd of people. A group of children giggling as they throw down small rocks that burst into colorful smoke and cast illusions of fairies that fly around them. One of the children seems to have swallowed their rock and is running around panicking as blue smoke billows from their mouth. A group of illusion fairies struggle their way out of the child's esophagus and chase after the child as they run crying for their mother. When you get closer to Wibblegiggleton, he puts his hands on his hips and says, "Ah, adventurers, welcome to Wibblegiggleton's Wagon of Wonders. Do you seek treasures to aid you on your travels?"
Hey boss, yeah, I'm looking for some kind of badass weaponry. A lot of these bozos have magical items and I'm about due for something dope. I take my rapier and put it up on the wagon and say, "This is what I'm dealing with now. Got anything comparable?"
"I think I have just the thing." Wibblegiggleton opens a crate and rummages through it, tossing aside small trinkets until he gets to a rapier. It's sharp and seems to hum as if it had just struck something. "All right, threaten me, get angry," Wibble says.
Okay. Hey, you fuckface. Give me all your corn and gold or I'll rip my beak through your asshole. Squaw!
The rapier glows a bright green as you threaten Wibble, as his stance changes to prepare for you to attack. "This is a rapier of warning. While you have it, you cannot be surprised by an enemy. You'll actually probably get the upper hand on them. In addition, if something tries to sneak up on you when you're sleeping, it will wake you up before anything troubling happens. As long as you weren't magically put asleep. 300 gold pieces for this one.
That sounds dope as hell. Give me that shit. I pay Wibble 300 gold for it.
While they're finishing up the sale, I want to look at some of the toys he's got.
Wibble takes your gold, Joe, and he wraps up the rapier in a red silk cloth for you. He even throws in a red leather scabbard for free as he hands you the weapon and thanks you for your purchase. Droop, you look around at some of the magical toys, and a couple of things catch your eye. First is an ink pen that is animated. You see a yokel talking to the pen, and it is writing everything they say onto parchment. Essentially, this pen writes whatever you say in a flowy, beautiful font. Another is a bell that a child is ringing. The bell seems ordinary, but as they ring it, the bell safely shoots out illusionary fireworks around them in a range of beautiful colors, lights, and booms.
Holy shit, you mean I don't need to learn to write and I can be loud and annoying? I'm going to buy both of these things.
Wibble bags up a red ink self-writing pen and a silver bell for you, Droop, and hands you a red paper bag in exchange for 100 gold pieces. Wibble gives you a big smile and says, "Have fun with those, little one."
I immediately tear open the bag with my hands and teeth after spending all my winnings from Thaddeus's game and run around in circles like Donnie from the Wild Thornberries, ringing the bell as loud as I can as pop rockets, flares, and Roman candles erupt from the bell in different directions.
Hey man, these asshats keep letting me get down to 0 hit points and almost dying. I need something that will make me live forever. You got anything that will make me immortal back there?
Nothing like that, but I have something that might help a little. Wibble hops down from the crate and pulls out a pendant that looks like 2 golden hands holding ruby gems and says, "This is a periaptive wound closure. If you were to ever fall into a critical state while wearing this pendant, it will stabilize your wounds. Also, when you rest, you will notice you get more out of it."
Interesting. How much for it?
For this magical item, 350 gold pieces.
I want to haggle him down.
Sure, give me a persuasion check.
What's a 13 get me?
It doesn't help much, but Wibble says he will throw in a potion of healing if you buy it now for 350.
Better than nothing. Yeah, I'll take this thing. I fork over the 350.
Wibble bags the pendant and a potion of healing in a nice red and yellow striped bag for you and hands you your purchase.
Greetings, my gnome friend. I am looking for something that will help me defend myself and my friends more in combat. Their lives are dear to me, so I ask if you have a shield that can benefit me in some way.
But of course, Wibble pulls a metal shield way too big for him off of the display and hands it to you to inspect and says, "This may look like an ordinary shield, but when struck, it will withstand more of the blow. I assure you it will be an upgrade from the one you are using now. For this one, 275 gold pieces. Meta-wise, this is a +1 shield, so this will add 1 more AC to your standard shield."
I'm going to use my channel divinity to use my Emissary of Peace feature. I want to persuade him to lower the price for me. For the next 10 minutes, I have a +5 to persuasion checks. Rolling persuasion with a +10, which includes the original bonus plus the bonus from Emissary of Peace gets me a 28.
Wow, way to one-up me, George.
Your words move Wibble that you would want to protect your friends. He sheds a single tear and says he will give you the shield for only 150 gold pieces, the cost in which he acquired it.
I thank Wibble for his generosity and purchase the shield for the discounted price.
I approach the wagon and say, "Mr. Giggleton, I am looking for something, I just don't know what. I want to enhance my magical ability in some way, but I'm unsure what I would need. Would you have any recommendations?"
Wibble looks you up and down and says, "And what is the nature of your magic, friend?"
It is hard to say. I pull out my black book from my bag and hold it up.
Wibble's face drops and becomes quiet for just a moment before nodding his head and says, "Yes, I see. I know exactly what would suit you." He reaches into a drawer inside of the wagon and pulls out a small wooden box and opens it to reveal an iridescent, milky pearl. This pearl, when you speak its word of power, will allow you to regain some of your magical strength in just a moment. This pearl peels magical energy from the environment around you and takes time to regain its power. You can tap into its power once a day. I will give this to you for 325 gold pieces.
I will nod at him and say, "That is fair, I'll take it. I don't push for a discount or anything, as I get the gist that he knows where my magic comes from, and I don't want to push my luck."
You give Wibble the gold, and for this item, he doesn't package it up nicely like the others. He closes the wooden box with the pearl and puts it in your hand and says quietly, "Take care of yourself, friend. The magic you deal in is a dark path. Consider turning to a path where your power comes from the deity that book was actually from, and not the dark powers that have corrupted it for the sake of your soul."
I give a nod and thank him before leaving the wagon.
I go after Barack and say, hey man, you gonna let him talk shit to you like that? Who is that short little shit to judge where you get your magic from? It's your personal business and none of his. He just needs to be happy that he's making bank off of us.
Don, he's right. This is dark magic I'm playing with. My eternity hangs in the balance. But I need to do what I have to for Michelle. I'm willing to risk my eternity to get her back.
You know, I'm not thrilled about it either, but this is your decision, man. Defend yourself and your choices. Don't let people push you around and tell you what to do with your life.
Maybe that's why you end up rolling more death saves than me.
Maybe. Except that one time I saved your ass from that illusion cat.